Hi everybody, it's Pat Sloan here on Valentine's Day. Yay! Happy Valentine's Day. Kisses to everybody. I love you. So this is a Facebook Live, and if you are watching, click something so I know you're on there. Click the little hearts, leave me a comment. What I am doing is setting this up here in the corner of my studio where I'm on the computer. So I am going to look on my computer because this should now be running in here, and then I can see your comments on the computer, which is, there they are, which is a lot easier. And I'm going to share this over to the business page, and I'm doing this on my phone. Hey Kathy, how are you? So I have not done a Facebook Live on my phone in a long time. I used to do them, but I had an older phone, and so it was all watery and yucky. And now I have a better phone, and the resolution is so much better. But I don't know how long this will go. So we're gonna probably talk about 15 minutes. Some of you sent me questions, so I thought it'd be more like a Q&A and a real relaxed kind of thing. There's Karen popping in. So let me share this over to the business page, my other page here at Facebook. So people can join in while we're running. There we go. Because this is also on my phone, that means I can be able to upload it to YouTube afterwards, where I can do closed caption for, YouTube has automated closed caption, which is okay, but it's better than nothing. Oh, love the flowers. Those are so pretty. So today was a charity block day. So I thought I brought that over to show you. Ta-da-da, there we go. So this is the lilies, the lily block from the charity Bloomtopia Sew Along. Isn't it pretty? I'd like to see a whole quilt of these. I think it's pretty neat. This one we're doing in Bonnie Lane. I'm doing mine in Bonnie Lane, so you can also do Bonnie Lane if you want, or you can get a kit and you can do the same as the Fat Quarter Shop's version. Who else is there? Aketa, Etike, and Vera. So where are you guys from? Somebody tell me, where are you from? I'm in Virginia, for those of you who don't know. I live in Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C., and we have been here, we figured out we've been living here about 35 years, which just seems like crazy. How did that happen? Just craziness. So I did have questions from before, the people that wrote in, earlier when I asked if anybody had questions. So I will answer a few of those. Let's see, somebody's asking. Yes, I did start, Brenda. Look for the new video. So there we go. Let's see. The frozen land called Missouri today. Oh, I lived in Missouri for a while. Who wrote that? I lived in Missouri for a while, and I think it had some of the coldest winters and hottest summers of any place I ever lived. So that I understand Missouri a little bit. It's a long time ago. Washington State, awesome. So even on here, I'm trying to understand what I can see and not see. Like I can go like this and reach up here and go back comments. On my desktop, it's not showing me all the comments right now either. So I will try to, Palm Harbor. Terry's in Palm Harbor. I've been down there. My brother lives down that part of Florida. So, okay, so let me just, while you're sort of checking in, we have a whole nice group of people. There's over 100 of you here. That's great. I don't know what time, some of you are in different time zones than me. Some of you are on East Coast. So you are also here at the cocktail hour. That's what I called it. This is the cocktail hour, 6 o'clock. After this, I go have wine. That's like, but not before this. So there were a couple questions. So I thought I'd just do those. Fun questions, worky kind of questions, work related, business related. But so first I'll say Cindy left me a question and asked, have I ever long arm quilted? And I'm saying yes, I have long arm quilted, not very much. Um, Using a long arm, you're driving the machine along the quilt. If you've never tested one, the next time you go to a quilt show and they have one up, test it. It's a lot of fun. Some people's brains work super well with driving the machine because it's like drawing with a pencil, because the sewing machine, but you're using two handles. Whereas when you push fabric, you are like pushing the paper under the pencil, like the needle's a pencil, and then you're pushing the paper under it. So it's two entirely different motions. Um, not similar. So you have to build a skill for both of them. And some people's brains work really well, better for one over the other. Hillary's waving. Hey, Hillary. I didn't know there was a wave on there. So this is fun. I've got little faces popping up on my screen. So that was a question from Cindy. Do any of you have a question? There. Oh, Francis, are you up late? You're in the UK. Is it late in the UK? It's like 5 hours. So what is it, like 11 o'clock at night? So you might be getting ready to go to bed. You just watching before you go to bed. Okay, so the other thing I had was a couple more people are jumping in. Yes, I am. Glenda asked, am I doing any more button club? Speaking of button club, yes. The button club was delayed a little bit, and so my schedule, it didn't fit in to do the button club immediately, but I will get a project for the last button club called Frost. I'll get a project out next weekend. And they're all small projects, so it'll get out there next weekend. It's just balancing my schedule. But I put up today, when you go to the charity quilt, I put up my little zippy pouch. This is a pattern from the pouch is a pattern from the Fat Quarter Shop, who does the button club. And then I had designed this bee and used all the buttons. Look at the little heart button. I just love the button club always has all these cute little hearts. But this zippy pouch, I ended up using like a double zipper. And I tell you what, I really like that double zipper. So then there's a little mesh. You'll see in the tutorial, but there's like a little mesh divider. But this is small, and I would like to make a bigger one. And you make it bigger by just increasing the number. Like I could make 2 more rows here and 2 more rows down here, and then it would be like more like a big sort of manila envelope size. So that's what I'm thinking. So there's a free tutorial. This is a free download, and you just can get all that today from the charity post. So be sure that you go look over there. Okay, anybody else have a question? Did I miss any questions? Let me just look here. I'm not seeing any new questions there. You and zippers don't get along. Oh, Brenda, they're easy zippers. Easy zippers. Okay, so there's another couple questions. So Michelle asked, okay, people ask this all the time. Sorry, Michelle, they do. But somebody said, Michelle said, how the heck are you able to keep up with all the projects you have? You're such a busy person. It's like, well, I like doing a lot of things at once, and I am used to managing lots of things at once. My prior career of 20 years was in software development, and I managed software development teams, and we always had many, many projects going on at once, and I had to keep track of up to 40 people's work. So I'm used to knowing all these different things and scheduling and organizing and planning. It's fun. I find that really fun. And I just could not imagine doing just 1 or 2 or 3 projects at once. That's just about, I don't know, that just seems boring. What did you wonder about, Susan? Use more words for me. Sometimes there's a delay, so when you write, tell me more, then so I know where the context of you're talking about. Yeah, so that is so keeping track of projects for me is not a crazy thing. It's actually fun, and I just have a very organized, and I do a lot of schedules and reminders and things like that. So I keep a lot of projects going on. It's a good thing. Okay, any new questions? I still have a few others from people asked me. So, All the projects you have to go. Oh, okay. So Susan, so you were wondering, how do I do all the projects? So some of you may never have had to manage multiple projects in your regular life. But if you think about it, you really are. I mean, you have to make appointments. You have maybe family members' appointments and your appointments. You have to get people to places. It's no different than that. These just happen to be quilt projects. I have mini quilts on my wall. Do I do a lot of them? That's from Brenda. So these are, but basically there's another, the Valentine one. These are button club projects. And so for the button club, I generally do smaller, these little wall hangings. Plus they're satisfying. You get it done, right? You know, like you make it and it's finished and it's totally complete. And if you're putting buttons on something, I don't want to really put them on a big quilt. And table runners, I put them on the end. So I might do table runners, or I do these little mini quilts because they're fun to decorate. And for me, I've always got these little spaces by the door that they fit. You know, and here it's by the window, obviously not a door. It's like, but that's why I like to do the small ones. So like even the pouch, this little guy could just be a little mini quilt. You know, you could hang it up if you wanted. Okay, who else is here? Wave, send me a note. I'll ask another question. Okay, one of the other questions is Bonnie asked, what is my favorite ice cream? That's, okay, so everybody has a favorite ice cream. Put yours down. So everybody who's watching right now, write in the comment your favorite ice cream. I'm going to see if any of my favorites float by. Unfortunately, I can't eat ice cream anymore. It doesn't, there's certain dairy type things that don't do well for me. So I'm not eating as much ice cream as I used to. But when I did eat ice cream, I loved coffee, anything coffee flavor, caramels, nuts, coffee, caramel, nuts. That was my favorite. Also, I could still eat like sorbets and things like that. And so raspberry sorbet has been a favorite since I was a little kid, when we would always get that. Hey Karen, hey Lee. Oh yeah, coffee ice cream. So there's another coffee ice cream person. Happy Valentine's Day. Butter pecan is good. When I lived in Europe as a teenager, I went to high school in Europe, we had a Baskin Robbins, and it was like this bigger major thing because nobody had cars, because you had to be 18 to drive, and everybody was leaving the country then to go to college. So hardly anybody had a car. So to get the ice cream, one of the teachers would have to like pull up and, you know, get everybody's orders and go out to the Baskin Robbins and then bring back all the ice cream. So it was a really big deal to get Baskin Robbins ice cream. But in Belgium, they did, you would call it probably a vanilla sundae, maybe, but they called it a dame blanche, which was like a little tray with 3 balls of vanilla ice cream and then chocolate sauce on it, usually warm chocolate sauce, very thin. So Brenda, do you remember that? Do you remember the dame blanche? They were, Brenda and I went to high school together. And so, you know, they were really, really good. And we get those also, you know, my brother and I would go down and get them. Caramel on your ice cream or caramel ice cream, Rose? Either way, sounds totally good. So let's see. I had couple other questions on here. Let's see. So this is like a quilting technical question. So it's a little harder to do that talking through it, but I'm going to give you some highlights. This is Sherry that asked this. And Sherry, I did write under your comment, so you might see that too. But Sherry wants to know, well, she says she can't ever get her blocks to come out to the right size. Basically, she says her 12.5-inch blocks, she can't get them to come out 12.5. My biggest key here is, like I always say to anybody who asks this, is when you sew 2 pieces of the block together, okay? So if I'm sewing like this middle piece to the side piece, I want to measure these 2 as soon as I do that and see that they're the correct size. Because if I measure these 2, you know, this piece, this strip, and this strip, and they are not the correct size, then your seam allowance is off. It's always your seam allowance. 99.9% of the time, when your block is not right, it's your seam allowance. It's not usually your cutting. Usually you cut really well. You're all really good at cutting. it's the seam allowance. And so if you don't measure every time you sew two pieces together, if you will then have an error that grows and grows and grows. So if you catch it right away, then you can go, okay, I was too big or too small in that seam allowance. Usually you took too big a seam allowance, so you sucked up too much and it's too small. So you need to fix it because it won't get any better as you sew more to it. It'll just get worse. So my patterns, I show you when you take two pieces together, I show you what the size is. I tell you, measure for that size. So if you start doing that, you will have better blocks. They will come out the right size. And fabric moves. Fabric stretches, it stretches. It's got a little bit of give. So you have to just be a little lenient on yourself. If you need to do a little bit, of adjusting, that's good, but don't get too crazy. So Kayleen wants to know if you can fix your block with your sashing. Well, I think that you might prefer to just fix the block. Don't fix it at the end after it's all done. Fix it as you go along. As you go along. Oh, there's Brenda Butler. Yay, you found us. Yeah. She asked online, where are you? And if you're just joining in, hi, this is a Facebook Live. I'm Pat Sloan, and it's a little experiment, a little Q&A here tonight on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. And if you missed the front part, you can just watch it on the rerun. It'll be there. So it looks like Diane just got in from work. All right. Excuse me. So there's one more question that was left in advance. Let me see if there was any other ones. I don't see any other ones. So does anybody have a question here before I get to that last one? Let me go back. See, I think we're all talking ice cream earlier. Maple nut ice cream. Oh my God, Amy, you're making me hungry. Oh, everybody likes the heart quilt. I just missed your name, but somebody said they love the heart quilt. I'm going to move the camera. I'm going to do it slowly. What I'm going to do is rotate it over here to the design wall, because the design wall you see me standing in front of a lot of time is over there. I'm directly opposite in the width of the room. So it's at the other width side of the room. The room's not that big. So hold on here. I'm going to turn this around. And there's the entrance out to the main part of the house. And here is the hearts. So these hearts are from the Splendid Sampler book, Sew Along. And they're my heart in the book is called Hearts of Flutter. And what I did is, when we start, I'm going to take it back around. I'll keep it here a second. I have to lay it down there. Okay, there, I balanced it. So, sorry, the lighting is not so good. There we go. So, when I did that block, it was the first block that we did for the Sew Along, for the very first book, Sew Along. And it's applique. And what I thought I'd do is make a bunch of them. I ended up with 50. I have one hanging on the wall over there. But I ended up, so 49 is what's up on the wall, and I'm just going to sew them together tonight after I finish another project. So that's going to be, I don't know that I'll get it all sewn tonight, but I'm going to try. I'm doing no sashing, just side by side. So let me come back around here, back around my room. There, you've seen the whole room now. There we go. See? Da-da-da-da-da. That's my walk out to the deck. That's the blinds back there. So this is originally the family room of the house. And so you would come in off the kitchen, which is the entry to the house. This came with the house. It was not an extension. And then that goes out to the deck. So my room is kind of the middle. I mean, it's the hub of the house because we go in and out through there. But luckily, it's just Greg and I, so it's not too much of a trouble. Oh, but the hearts, I'll show you. I'll take pictures then. I'll get some of it sewn up. I don't know how much tonight because after I do the other project. So one other thing I want to show you before I wrap, then I have one question and then we'll wrap up, is that Martingale sent the designers the cutest journal. This is, they sent it in the pattern paper. I love pattern paper. Hey Jane, you saw my hearts. Jane from my co-author of the Splendid Sampler. So they sent this in the wrapping paper. It's just so, it's not wrapping paper. This is pattern paper, like from, dresses and whatnot. I just love that because that's how I learned to sew. And then they sent a little journal, which is a Sue Spargo. So it's got all these really cute pages, which are close-ups of her work, lots and lots of handwork, and she has some patchwork. There's one of her patchwork quilts. Super cute. And they sent gummies, a little mini gummy bag. Yay! I can eat those later too. So there was one other question there that just, this went through my head. That I just realized when I started saying that with the patterns. The other question came from Kathy, who said, when did I start quilting? And what did she ask? And how did I learn? So when did I start quilting? So I started quilting I made my first quilt in 1978. 78. But I didn't quilt again for a long time. Not until when I have to write it down. Not till 92. And in 92, one of the ladies that I worked with in my computer job, Gwen, Gwen already quilted. And Gwen told me, she goes, you need to learn to quilt. Because Gwen sewed clothing, I sewed clothing. And Gwen says, you need to learn to quilt. And I'm like, I don't think so. I am not going to cut up all that little stuff and sew it back together. But that's exactly what I did. Gwen signed me up for the all by hand cardboard template learn to quilt class. So I learned to quilt by hand piecing and hand quilting, learning all these different techniques. And that's how I got started. I got hooked, hook, line, and sinker. So a couple people on there I see asking where to get this. It's on my blog today. After this is done, I will go back into this particular post and I will link. This is where the charity block is for today. There's a link to it, but I will update this post after with the charity block. There was one other question that was a bit longer that Brenda had, which was about picking fabrics and some other things. So I will save that for another time. I will save it because we're running out of time here. This has been a lot of fun on Valentine's Day. Oh yeah, Brenda also said she wanted to say that she won the giveaway from last week. Like, yes, not on this, on my what I do over on Monday nights on the Fireside Chat. I'm so glad you got it, Brenda. So glad. So if you like this, leave me a note in the comment because this is kind of an experiment doing the live, and it's not real. I'm not real formatted here, and the quality and the sound is all just going through my phone. I don't have the software that you need to do it for on the desktop, so I had to use my phone. But I think the quality will be pretty good when I release this. I think it didn't get wavy and everything, which is yay. So thank you for being here. Oh, one more question there. Susan says, where do you get the buttons? There's a link where the directions are for the button for the bag, for this bag, and is a link to the buttons from the Fat Quarter Shop. So, and thank you for using my links, everybody. Help support all the fun that I can do for you, and Greg and I appreciate your support. We both wish you a happy Valentine's Day. Have a wonderful evening. And since it is the cocktail hour, I hope you have either a real one or a other drink of your choice. Whatever it is, you have something tonight that you enjoy. Take a little bit of time for yourself. And I love you. You're an amazing community. Thank you so much for being here. Love you very much. Talk to you later, everybody. Bye-bye.